I think you've mentioned, yourself and others having these experiences of like divinity or God during, the work that you teach. And I'm just, curious to know, I mean, is there a certain story you can tell about that um, or something in your own personal experience for those who are sort of on the spiritual religious, you know, side of things?
For me and for many people, like all I can say is that to be focused totally on a sexual experience um, allows me to go deep. And so, if I'm out in nature, for example, and masturbating, I might have this feeling of connection to everything. I might feel wow, especially when I'm in this high vibration. My heart opens up. So, for some people, that spiritual experiences for me fall into two major categories. One is my heart opens up, and this could be called just a human experience, but I call it a spiritual experience, and my heart opens up. The other is when I have a sense of awe. So spiritual for me is wow. And for the last 5 or 10 years, the started I think as teenagers called awesome, the term awesome. And I think that is really an amazing word because for me that's a spiritual stance. When something is awe means you're just shaking, your mouth drops, you're just like, this is unbelievable. So my heart opening and something being awesome are how I would define my major spiritual experiences. And there's a lot of sexual experiences that open my heart or that I go, this is awesome.
Hmm.
Either solo sex or sex with others.
Yeah. Well, now you talk about you've mentioned the role of surrender in all of this and how important it is to be able to surrender to the ecstasy in order to reach those states of awe and heart opening. Can you talk about what surrender means and how do you practice that?
This is a big lesson for, especially for men, because men, the male energy is it's not very surrendering. It's not very receptive.
Yeah.
In fact, classically, that's the woman's position is to be receptive, and the man is the penetrating. And I would say one of the major things that I've learned by receiving massage is to really receive any kind of massage, a Swedish massage, is to let go and just be, to not just to receive, to not. There's nothing to do, and that's a lesson that to really enjoy massage one has to learn to do.
Hmm.
And so to be involved with massage, giving and receiving, that I was when I would give a massage to men, that's something that my hands and the way that I'm working on them are, and my suggestions, verbal suggestions, are helping them to let go and just receive and surrender. And I think of yes, this is a basis of a lot of spirituality, surrender to the awesomeness, or surrender to your open heartedness, surrender, as you say, to the divine. It's a um, I think it's a basic spiritual stance to be receptive and uh, in my Catholic tradition, that was where the Holy Spirit came in. Be
Mm.
receptive to be receptive to the workings of the Holy Spirit in you.
Wow.
So so I I'm gl- I'm not sure how other people learn it, but I learned it giving and receiving massage just to be receptive.
Yeah, I was going to say for a lot of our listeners, with erotic engineering, we teach Bruce and I mainly teach, solo sex, masturbation, self-love. So I was wondering if you could maybe comment on if, surrender can apply to something internal with yourself, rather than, just surrendering to others. Is there something deeper? 'Cause. 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 '
a lot of this is, even though I'm a teacher, it's hard to put into words. Um, what I find with solo sex is a major way of not, there's two ways that I come to mind right away of not surrendering, and one is to hold tension in the body. So a lot of boys, right from early on, learn to tighten their legs, to hold their breath and tighten their body as they get more and more to squeeze out an ejaculation. And this, so I think surrendering in one way is to allow relaxation to be in your body and eros at the same time. So you're not controlling with your tense muscles and your holding of breath. You're not controlling the situation. You're surrendering to what is, to what the feelings are, to whatever's going to happen. I think a lot of men have very short masturbation experiences and very short, I think, intercourse. The average, in Kinsey's day in 1950, the average length of sexual intercourse was 2 minutes, 2 to 4, I think. And now we've evolved. The average length is 4 to 6 minutes of sexual intercourse. So that means when someone's masturbating and when they're having intercourse, the man often builds up to this ejaculation rather than allowing the sexuality just to be in. So they can't afford to allow their erection to go down and come up again. It's always further, more, more. So there's no surrender to just the ebb and flow of sexual energy. I feel the major thing you and Bruce are doing, I would put a name to it, is teaching men about to play with or regulate the sexual energy in their body. So most men do not even understand how they have 1 or 2 paths to arousal and to ejaculation, and they use those same paths all the time. They don't play with the energy in their body, and they control it. So there's no surrender. There's no, I think, a surrendering. The two major problems, sexual problems of men, the two major ones that are the vast majority of sexual problems presented to therapists, etc., are I'm not getting erect, erectile dysfunction, I can't get erect, or premature ejaculation, I'm ejaculating too quickly. Both of those are of men who never learned how to feel the erotic energy in their body and to circulate it and regulate it and move it around and stimulate it and play with it. And the energy goes up and down, and you can play with it for hours, as you know, or certainly longer than 10 minutes, a quick jack off.
Right.
And to do that, your attention has to be on your body. So when somebody's watching porn, their attention, there's a forgetting of their body, and they never learn to regulate the energy. So as they grow up, the excitement of being with someone else, premature ejaculation, bam, all of a sudden they ejaculate. Or their concerns about being with someone else, they're just fears. They don't get erections.
Right.
So both of those are because of lack of learning about their sexuality with themselves. And I think, so that's what I see you and Bruce doing, is teaching men to pay attention to what's going on and to regulate their own energy, to engineer it. That's the word you use.
Yeah.
To play with it. And we don't have a tradition of learning sexuality. The cultural mythology is that you heterosexually get married, and on your wedding night is the first time you have sex, and you kind of know how to have sex. That's the ideal situation, as if sex is something you just know. Well, animals do it that way. They don't have a lot of preparation, but I think we're human beings. We can, there's so many different dimensions we can bring into our sexuality and learn about. Playfulness, the spirituality, the awesomeness. How to open the heart is a big one.
Yeah.
If a man cannot a lot of men don't know how to open their hearts when they're aroused. Their hearts are closed to sexual experience. They're tense.
I know for me, when I go into mindful masturbation, sometimes there's a sense, like when I'm trying to open my heart, of this, like it's like this is sinful. This is not okay to love myself, and I just, it takes a little bit of time to like get to this place where that feeling of self love is actually like you claim it and it's good, because at first it's like, no, this is like, what am I doing? This is a little bit sinful, or too much, pleasure. So it definitely takes a lot of like, practice to really get to that place where you're just like, here I am.
You know what I noticed? What's been surprising to me is that that's a lesson that needs to be learned again and again. So at different stages of your life, you're you're really different, and the way your body becomes different as you age, and how you view yourself and love yourself is different. So I think this is something you learn over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't think it's ever gonna be where we just, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's something we remember and we forget intentionally just over and over again because it's so beautiful to remember it. But
That's a
that's my
nice
own thought.
thing.
Yeah.